right, hi, this is Henk. Welcome to another edition of the Skull Sessions. And today my guest is BC Hollywood. That's correct.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about what we got going on, man.
Okay. Um, I know. Where do you want to start? At the moment, I'm writing the third book in. Well, technically, it's the fourth book, but it's book three, just a prequel, of the Darkle Chronicles series, um, which is like an apocalyptic series set in Ireland.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah. Um, and it's a little bit mixed genre. The first one is set kind of in the post-apocalypse. Second one is set in 1888 in Dublin.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
the third one is contemporary Dublin. And they're all like horror, a little bit extreme, a little bit of splatterpunk in there. Particularly the first one. That's probably the most
Most extreme.
the messiest, shall we say? Um, so
So
yeah,
where
that's
they
when
like where does the first one take place?
the first one takes place probably a couple of years into an apocalypse that
But like what years? Like what years does it take place? Like I
like
think you said
it's
the second one's like the 1800s and the third one is the current day.
yeah. So the third one is the current day that leads up to directly up to the events that caused the apocalypse. Um, so it's within it's current day plus 2, 3 years is kind of when the first one is set. There's no like particular date, like exact date. Whenever you read it, it's a couple of years. It's a couple of years from that point.
But do you say the second one is like is back in time? Like is earlier on?
Yeah, it is. It's the first attempt by this particular group to bring about this apocalypse. There's a lot of kind of Celtic mythology in it.
Okay.
Not so much the first one, but the second one dives into that, and that's what the apocalypse is based on. It's like a mythological slash supernatural
It
slash
comes into
zombie.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also got zombies in it.
So the first book is like the ongoing apocalypse, but the second
Yeah,
book is like kind of the precursor, like what
yeah,
leads up to it, and the
yeah,
third book
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
is almost like a sequel in a way to the first book, and it's like more of like the contemporary timeline.
Yeah, it's contemporary timeline, and you kind of meet briefly some of the main characters from the first book. The first book has got like three protagonists. It's called Shadow Apocalypse. The three main protagonists are mostly bad people. Um, there's not really, there's not really. They've all got varying degrees of dislikability. Is that a word? Dislikability?
I don't know, it is now.
It is now, yeah. But yeah, they're interesting characters. What's interesting about writing them is putting a bit of humanity in them to make you kind of okay, they're assholes, but they're kind of all right.
Do you kind of do it like kind of like Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead, where he's like kind of like a pompous, arrogant windbag, but he's also kind of likable.
Yeah, 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 kind of, yeah. These guys are, yeah, some of them are they're kind of they've got interesting backgrounds. There's like one of them is a guy who kind of struggles with a addiction, and he's basically just trying to get high, and he doesn't have to deal with the apocalypse. Um, the
I
other
actually
guy,
know quite a number of people like that. They're like, if this zombie apocalypse, I'm getting fucked up.
yeah, yeah, this guy kind of he stumbles through the night of the event, and then there's like heavy flashbacks into what what they were doing on that night, from the 2 or 3 years after the apocalypse, when the main kind of narrative is going on. So there's flashbacks for each of the characters that goes back to what they were doing, and it reveals kind of more of just how how bad these people are.
So I have a question about the timeline. So, like, I'm a little bit confused, and probably the
Okay.
listeners are too. So, in the first book, you have like those distinctive characters, and then the second book, it kind of like tells you a little bit of the backstory that led up to those characters, almost like a prequel. And then the third one is kind of a continuation of what was going on in the first one, with like more of the background filled in for the second book.
Well, no, it's a whole set of new characters that are in the second book because of the time jump.
Hmm.
Um, and it deals with those particular characters and what they get up to, um, mostly to prevent the attempt of the apocalypse. But it introduces more of the kind of big bad guy as opposed to the protagonists in the first one who are kind of just little bad guys. Um, but it's kind of different set, and then there's an epilogue which refers back to the original kind of timeline of the first one, and then the third book goes back to um, like just now, shall we say, and it deals with the another couple of characters that um, have a kind of a big part as well in the story for the next book, book four. Um, and
But the
hopefully
first
it's
and
not
third book is like the apocalypse is ongoing and like it's like people dealing with it.
the first book is the people are dealing with the apocalypse like they're used to it. It's kind of they're living in it. And there's some flashbacks to the the night of the apocalypse, really, what those particular characters were doing. Um, then the second book is like a different set of characters. But it introduces another character that's going to be in the third book. Um, the third book is another set of characters that are like they're all kind of standalone books, except for there's a couple of chapters that link everything together, and brings it into the fourth book, which will be kind of a direct continuation from the first book, right?
Okay.
So it's like three book setup for fourth book, you know.
How many
And
books do you have planned
for
ultimately?
this, there's five. It's five books for this.
And when
And
did the first one come out?
first one came out last October.
Okay.
The second one came out around, I think it was January. I don't know. I lost track. Um, and the second book is with or the third book is with my editor at the moment, and it's due to be released in September. But I think it's probably going to be earlier than that. Hopefully, you know, that's the first
Okay.
book. Rrr. Second book, and then there's a prequel at the moment as well. This one, Red Jacket, kind of deals with
And that's a third book. Red Jacket is a third book.
Red Jacket's the prequel.
Oh,
That's um like an email magnet. People, sign up for my newsletter to get that for free. But there's a print version of it as well. They can buy on Amazon if they want. But that's available for free in the newsletter. It's about like a novelette. It's about 60 pages or so. And it
but
just kind of gives a taste of it.
the prequel is separate from the first, second, and third book. It's like
The
just
prequel, the prequel leads directly to the. It's probably set like in 2 weeks up to like the lead up to the first book. You know, it leads directly up to it. Um, and the significance of the title Red Jacket, you get that within the first kind of couple of chapters of the first uh, the first book. It's Shadow Apocalypse. It's a bit it's a little bit gruesome, um, and a little bit nasty in equal measures. But I'm not going to really go into that now. I think, I think fans of Splatterpunk and extreme horror will definitely get down with the first one. Um,
okay.
Yeah, and if they don't mind a smattering of Celtic mythology, um, then they'll carry on through, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't see why they would mind it. I mean, anything that's like interesting and well done, it's like I don't think you have to have like real strict ties or
yeah,
anything.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a little bit complex, um, but it's more complex to talk about than when you actually read the things. It
Okay.
makes total sense when you're reading them, you know.
Is this the first thing that you put out, this trilogy with the prequel?
Um, I had a couple of things that I put out about 10 years ago, and I just chucked them up on Amazon. One of them was a short story called Dog Catcher, which is a whole lycanthrope thing based on the wolf kind of hunters in ancestors of wolf hunters in Ireland. They
Are
eradicated wolves.
the
Yeah.
werewolves the good guys or the bad guys?
The werewolves are the the bad guys. The particular ones in that book are the bad guys. Um,
Okay.
but they're actually related to the same line as the werewolves that are in the other book. um, and they're bad guys, but they're kind of good bad guys. You know what I mean? I love good bad guys.
Conflicted characters, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Or even from scene to scene, they could be good or they could be bad, depending.
Depending on what they do and how you take it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They've got like situational ethics, you know.
Okay. Well, actually, that's more like in line with the animal kingdom, anyways.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That would fit with werewolves, you know.
So, where are they all available from the same publisher, from the same source? What do you do? What's your marketing strategy?
Well, my marketing strategy is kind of up in the air, but I published them all like they're all self-published under there's an Unseelie press. It's my own kind of press that I've created for it. Um, the Unseelie Court. I don't know if you know what that is. That's where all of the bad fairies hung out in
Oh, no,
Celtic
I did
mythology.
not know that. Yeah.
The Unseelie Court. Yeah, that's where
Okay.
that was the place to be, I guess. But that's the name of the press, and I'm just published it. I was all in on Kindle. Well, I still am all in on Kindle. I'm kind of exclusive for the ebooks is Kindle. I was doing print through Amazon, um, but I've recently started going wide with the print and just getting them kind of through Ingram. And
What
that's
Ingram Spark?
yeah, Ingram Sparks, yeah. So I'm just trying to. I've got the prequel and the first book on Ingram at the moment. Well, I think should be the next couple of days, and I'm just going to get the next two up as soon as I can, um, just so I can get kind of more distribution with the paperbacks, you know.
Okay.
But
Eh,
yeah, they're all on they're all on Kindle, Unlimited. So far the ebooks, except for the prequel because that's available for free on my newsletter. Um,
Have you found that people respond more to one than the other, like the first, second, or third?
well, the first one has got a lot more exposure. Um, has a lot more readers. I haven't really pushed the second one as much, because I just jumped in and started writing the third book. Well, I jumped in after the second book. I jumped in and wrote the prequel just because I wanted something for exclusive for newsletter subscribers. Um, and then after that, I just had the third book was in my head, and if I didn't get it out, then so I'm taking a breather now. Once that's kind of it's with the editor, it has some more work to do before I can get it out the door. But I'm going to start pushing them more, trying to get more people reading them.
Yeah. Um, do you advertise it on like I know you're on Facebook because that's how I got a hold of you, but like on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram?
I've got a TikTok. I don't really use it overly. much. Got an Instagram as well. Again, I'm not that active on it. I just throw out some posts every so often. I've got the author page
Amazon.
on Facebook and um, Amazon. Well, I mean, I do I did a little bit of advertising on Amazon. You don't see much. You just kind of it just kind of gets it in front of a few people, really. Done
Yeah,
a
I've been
little
seeing
bit
a
of
lot of results from Amazon advertising. I see a lot more off Facebook than I do Amazon actually.
yeah. I was advertising with Facebook for a while, um, particularly like the first book. Um, but then it started going weird. I don't know what they were doing behind the scenes. I've noticed that there was a massive drop off in sales from it for some reason. I think they were messing around with the algorithm or something.
What in
Um,
the Facebook viewership?
yeah, in it was getting plenty of clicks and but they weren't translating as well as they used to into sales. So it was like it was putting it in front of the wrong people or putting it in front of bots or something like that. So, you know, the bots could be going in and clicking it. Obviously, they're not going to be too interested in reading it. Right?
There might be, you never
They
know.
might.
I
They
mean,
might. Yeah.
Terminator, Skynet, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, did you what made you go with the self-published route? Like I know a lot of people go that way now, you know,
Yeah.
and like it used to be like a decade or more ago, it used to be kind of like looked down on, but now it's like, you know, a lot of people are like, why would you not do that? But what was it a conscious decision? Did you talk to people? You didn't like what they said?
I did a little bit of research around it, read a few books, and just the idea of writing a book and sending it off and waiting a year for it to be published or whatever. Yeah, that didn't sit right with me. I wanted to be able to get it get it done quickly and get it out the door. I mean, I didn't see there was any reason for a lot of messing around. Once you have a process and you go through, your own kind of passes and go through some beta readers and get feedback and work it down and then, get it to an editor that's good. And the only difference I can see is that it's quicker and you have more control and I like that.
Yeah, well, you definitely like a lot of people, especially like major media companies, like they like have their formula that they want. It doesn't matter whether it applies to your stuff or not. It's like you gotta do it my way. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I doubt it if the first book would have got past uh,
I
I don't know who I would have sold it to. It's you know, it's quite graphic in parts.
well, I know that often marketing, like unless it like matches something else's soul, they don't know what to do with it. I mean,
Yeah.
and then once it breaks out, like Guns N' Roses, for instance, like when they came out, they were out for like a year. Nobody paid any attention to them. They kept trying to get MTV to play them. You know, MTV wouldn't play them. Finally, they paid MTV to play them once. MTV agreed to play them at midnight, and then they blew up off that.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, yeah, you know, often like the major publishers or the major like, you know, industry sources have no idea what's popular.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, neither do I, but like, yeah, and imagine trying to like even the thought experiment of having a conversation with some of these publishing houses and so what your book is post-apocalyptic and it's set in the 1800s. Well, and you know they're going to be like,
Well, is it weird that stuff like it seems totally like different than normal, and then something will sell and it becomes a hit, and they're like, wait a minute now, everything's got to be like that. Like zombies were dead for a while, then like The Walking Dead got really popular, so
yeah,
suddenly everybody wanted to do zombie series.
yeah, 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 Z Nation. I remember it
Yeah.
well.
Z Nation never really grabbed me. I kept, watching
No,
episodes, and I was like, eh.
no, it was like bargain basement Walking Dead or something.
Well, Walking Dead even went downhill after a while, but
Yeah,
it was good for a while. It had its run.
yeah, and don't talk about the last few seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, please.
Yeah, I haven't even watched that. No, I think I gave up on Walking Dead when the Whispers came out. It's like it's the same thing over and over again. All right, they run away, they find new campments, and people are assholes, and
Yeah.
and I remember they interviewed the guy who plays Rick, and he was like, "Well, it's like a family drama set in hell." I'm like, totally wrong attitude. It's a zombie drama.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'd read the like all the comics. So I mean, I
Yeah,
was sitting
no.
there going, "Wow, what are they doing? This person should be dead," and blah, blah, blah. Like, but it kind of kept me interested. Like even that kind of comparison in your own head when you're watching it. It's another kind of level of
Well, I noticed like I read the comics too, and I noticed in the comics like a lot of it was like a lot more hardcore. Like the governor, had this like greasy ponytail,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
rapes Michonne. She castrates him with a sword. That was
Even
not in the
even
TV
Negan,
series. What?
even
Oh
Negan,
yeah, yeah.
Negan was much more
Like
scary in the
everybody was more hardcore, but
yeah,
I mean that's Hollywood. Hollywood loves to, they think the audience can't handle it and they soften up, and then
yeah.
then now comes Game of Thrones and they go, wait a minute, everybody fucking dies.
Yeah, I like Game of Thrones as well, I guess. I guess that's one of the I suppose it's an influence with the way George R. R. Martin writes his characters, you know.
Yeah.
They're all assholes as well, but they're not in their own head, you know. I
Right,
mean,
right.
you can always justify whatever. You're
They
never.
always have a justification of why they're being assholes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's like Falling Down. You know the fall. You know that movie Falling Down with
I thought it was a
Mike.
great movie. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but you know the scene where he's like, "Am I the bad guy?" You
Yeah,
know,
I
it just
remember that.
occurs
Yeah.
to him, "Am I the bad?" Yeah.
Oh, that you kind of see his point to a lot of stuff. Like they just raise the price of the supermarkets, you can't afford anything. You're ordering it's supposed to be basically McDonald's. They can't call it McDonald's, but like
Yeah,
he orders it like it looks nothing like the picture up there. Like, yeah, I remember that. You know,
that's still the case.
yeah, totally the case. Well, did you ever see did you ever see like Super Size Me or anything where it's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That guy, Martin Sturlock. He passed away recently as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
He
there are a
was.
whole bunch of stores that like they took fries, like normal fries from a diner, they put them in like a mason jar, and they put McDonald's fries in another mason jar, and like a year later they come back, and the ones from the diner are like all moldy and whatever. The McDonald's ones look exactly the same.
Yeah, and the same with the burgers.
Yeah, they find a burger like in the back of a car that was like buried
Yeah,
in the mat for like a year. Same, it's the same.
yeah, yeah. That's food. That's food for the apocalypse, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Still good.
exactly.
Still good 2 years later.
Well, that might be all that's left, so that might be all we're eating. I
Yeah,
don't know.
could
But
be. Yeah.
all right, man. So, do you have anything else you want to promote? Anything else you want to
No,
recommend or throw out there?
no, not really. Just keep reading indie.
Yeah.
Wherever you can get it.
So, where can people you see yourself? Is it mostly on Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon. For the moment is probably the best place. Um, Definitely if it's ebooks, go for Amazon.
Okay. All right. Awesome,
Um,
man.
yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being on here. Do you have anything else you want to shout?
No, no, nothing at all. Just thanks for listening to me waffle for a while. Good to meet you.
You too. All right. Well, thanks, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
being on here,
Cheers.
and I'll be sure to send you a link when it's posted.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, man. See you
All
later.
right. Awesome. Thank you.